Hello and welcome to this episode of the Buried Rat Podcast. I am so sorry. I've recorded this like 8 times already. So sorry if I don't sound like I'm in the best of a mood. But yeah, this is a topic that I think is starting to become more and more important, which is why don't we own anything? So we're going to go through a few different topics and views from the past to what they look like in the present and why I think things are kind of going the way they're going and what direction I think we're headed toward. So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to talk about the past, and keep in mind when I say past, I'm talking like 2011, 2010, and prior. Yeah, so I'm going to start with books. In the past, you used to like physically own a copy of a book. You could borrow it from a library, or you could pay to download the digital PDF and then save it locally to your hard drive, your laptop, your computer, whatever it is. Physically have it saved to that thing. So it's yours now. You paid for it and now you have it. Next is software. It's very similar. You pay for the files you need, you download them, and then you can use them freely afterward. I think a good example would be like Adobe. All of the Adobe products, that's how they used to be. Like Photoshop, it was a one-time purchase. Now, keep in mind, it was I think it was like $200 or something. It was a ridiculously high price. But you pay for it one time, and then you have permanent access to it for the rest of your life. Next is movies. You would like pay for whatever it is. I said movies. I think this could really expand to broader media. But you'd pay for the disc, so that could be a DVD or Blu-ray in the case of movies, but that could also be a CD, vinyl record, cassette tape even, I don't know, what else is just like a literal roll of film even. Any type of media like that, when you were buying it, you would buy the physical thing and you could permanently keep it with you. And you could also share it with friends and family, which I think is really what kind of made picture, movie, media like that so magical, is that, it's something you experience and you could be like, oh, hey, to your friend or your cousin, whatever, whoever it might be, you'd just be like, oh, I have a copy of this thing. Here you go. You can watch it. And that's not something you can do anymore, but I'm going to get into that later. Next is cars, which, you just pay for the car and you have it pretty much. I mean, there were a couple of things you would pay for gradually. Obviously, you could get your car financed as well and pay in installments. But not paying for the actual car, the only things you're really paying are gas, insurance, maintenance, and like repairs if something's damaged. But that's it. Those are your costs. In the present, I think everything has moved towards subscriptions instead of paying and then immediately owning. For books, there's the Kindle, which was something that I had no clue about. Like, I knew Kindles, like Kindle Fire, the little tablet Amazon thingy. I knew they existed, but I didn't know anything specifically about them. Apparently, the way it works is that you would buy a book through the Amazon storefront on the Kindle, and then you're supposed to have that book on the Kindle. The issue is that since you're buying it through Amazon, if Amazon decides that they don't want a book there anymore, they can just rip it off the shelf. And when they rip it off the shelf, it's ripped off of your shelf even though you bought it. So, did you really buy the book? Because Amazon says no. And I heard that story of someone getting their book taken away. It was a George Orwell book, which makes me think there might be some higher incentive there, but that's beside the point. Next is software. I'm thinking of software in terms of gaming specifically, just because, that's where I saw it happen for me, of where this change from the past to present kind of happened. In the modern day, you pay for or you don't pay. You get a free download, and then you have to subscribe or pay to use all of the features of that thing that you got, quote unquote, for free. This happens a lot with gacha games, which, that's just any game where you can buy added features later. My example, when I hear gacha game, I'm thinking like Genshin Impact, where you can very well play the entire game all the way through. Is there an end? Now I said all the way through. I'm like, is there an end? I feel like there's endless content in that game. But You can play through the game without having to buy anything, technically. But it does heavily incentivize you to pay to get, like, little lottery gambles to be able to get new characters. And a lot of games do that or something similar. I'm thinking, like, Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, where, sure, you get the game for free, but if you want to unlock things or level up faster or get certain items, you would have to buy the gems, the in-game currency, and then you can spend that in-game. And that extends to other things like Fortnite, where you're paying money for fictional money to then spend. Which to me does not make any sense. I think if you paid for the game, you should own the game. Another place where I saw that kind of happen, like get the rug get pulled from under my feet, so to speak, is the Switch. Like, I had, Mario Kart, Splatoon, ARMS, just all these games that you have like physical copies of the game. You put it in the cartridge, or you put the cartridge in the thing. You turn the game on and you play. The thing is, they've decided that now having access to playing those games online is going to be a subscription. Okay, cool. So you actually just took away half the functionality of the game. Like, I'm left with a base game, and I realized I don't play the Switch enough to have Switch Online. So I just have to deal with all these games without playing online, which is, like, the main functionality of most of these games. That's a big selling point of video games, is that they can bring people from all over the world together, because there's international Smash Bros. Tournaments and international Mario Kart races happening all the time everywhere. But now that it's a subscription, only people who want to subscribe are going to be able to do those things. And everyone else is left with the single player or online local play video game. Like, that's all that they're left with, which to me is just unfair, because I paid for the game with the knowledge that I would have access to the internet. Like, the only thing I would be paying for is the internet, or I would have to go somewhere with internet to play. You know what I mean? I wasn't paying for the Switch to be able to connect to the internet. What? Like, that wasn't a thing. That wasn't in the, I guess, kind of social contract I had with Nintendo when I bought the game. That wasn't even something that I had fathomed could happen. I don't know. To me, it's just really sad to see. Of course, with video games hitting kind of close to my heart. Next is movies. I think everyone pays a subscription, or honestly 2 or more at this point, to watch movies, because Netflix used to be the staple powerhouse. Like I said earlier, it used to be physical. They would send you a CD in the mail, and it turned to completely digital, and they still have a wide selection of things. You just have to watch it digitally, that wide selection. Okay, cool, sure, good enough. My problem is when they started, upcharging for the subscription, where people were like, okay, honestly, I'm not watching like 8 million movies a day. Catalog is large, but the value isn't there. If you're only watching 2 or 3 movies a week or a month or every 2, however, most people aren't watching 3 movies a night. On top of that, like I said, the catalog is ever changing. You don't know what movie's gonna be on Netflix, what's gonna be on Hulu, what's gonna be on Paramount, or anytime, because it's constantly changing. And that means a lot of people will buy a subscription to a thing to watch one movie, either forget that they subscribed, or it was almost impossible to unsubscribe from a lot of things. It's just like, it sucks for everyone. Now that you don't own the movies, you're just paying for access to the movie via subscription. You don't own the movies. You can't share the movies with your friends and family anymore. For instance, I think a lot of college students especially will experience this. If you moved out of your house and you were on your family's Netflix thing, you just can't watch Netflix anymore. This happened to me. This happened to a couple of my friends. Like, you just cannot watch your family's Netflix account anymore because you're, like, outside of their zone or something. Like, it pops up with a weird message, and sometimes you can put it into travel mode, but that only lasts for a few days, and then you're just SOL after that point. Like, it's so weird. Especially because, you own it. Like, you own the subscription, technically. or your family owns a subscription. And I get that they want to make it harder because people were sharing their subscriptions, but at that point, like, I don't know, come up with a different model or make it affordable enough for everyone to be fine with having their own subscriptions. And the prices are getting ridiculous at this point. Like, an individual subscription to Netflix, I think, is like $22 or something. And it's like, why? What is that for? With ads, keep in mind. They're still playing ads on this thing that you already are paying a subscription for, which makes no sense. Either have the ads and no subscription, or have a subscription and no ads. We should not be doing both at this point. That's crazy. Lastly, because I think I am running out of time, and I need to hurry this up. Sorry. Lastly is cars. Like I said, in the past you used to just pay for your car, you have all the features, you get on with your life, you go. Now you're starting to pay for the features of the car you already bought or are, paying for through financing. It makes sense for some things, kind of. I'll say kind of, like software. Self-driving on Teslas was considered software that was... It was similar to the way I was saying other software was, where you used to pay to download the thing, but after you pay for it, you have it forever. It's one really large upfront cost, and then you have it. Recently, car companies have started to make these added feature subscriptions instead of one-time purchases. So to have access to self-driving on a Tesla car now, it's a subscription. That's also entertainment. So music, listening to the radio, also having navigation if you do it through Apple Play or CarPlay, whatever they're doing with these new cars. Sorry, my car's from 2010. I'm not caught up with all the, I'm like, you have a backup camera? Whoa, okay, advanced. Sorry. I just think it's weird. Every time I go into someone with a new car, I'm like, what is happening? I don't have all that. Anyway, sorry, that's beside the point. You're paying for features that come installed into the car, you just don't have access to them. We're paying for access to things that we have already purchased, is really what my biggest point here is. And my last thing is why? Why is this happening all of a sudden? And I think it's just because of extortion. If a company can find a way to make you pay money for something, even if it's something that you should rightfully already have, they're going to continue to exploit you for your money. Obviously, it's working with Netflix a lot. Like, they'll just increase the price, and some people will still pay for it because they know they like the movies on Netflix, or they want to watch the Netflix originals. Same thing is happening with cars, it looks like, because people are like, well, shoot, I need navigation, so I'm going to have to pay this subscription. We're getting extorted for more and more of our money, is what I think about it. And there are incentives in government right now in the US to kind of stop that from happening. I know there's like a click to cancel either bill or act or some type of legislation going through to make it where companies cannot make it hard for you to cancel subscription, because everything is under a subscription all of a sudden. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense to make it easier to unsubscribe, but companies would make it really hard to unsubscribe so they could keep making money off of you. And I think it's just time as consumers that we're at a point where we need to start recognizing when things like that are happening and start purchasing a little bit more ethically if we have space for that in our lives, of like, do we really need the subscription, and just hit no. You know what I mean? Or like, do I really need the subscription anymore? Let's cancel it. I obviously use subscriptions all the time. I use Spotify. I use Hulu. But like, these subscriptions are just everywhere, and they're starting to catch up. So, I don't know. Just something to be aware of. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I would love to hear what y'all thought about this. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Ring that notification bell. I've been forgetting to say that. If you want to hear more from me, ring that notification bell. And yeah, I think that's about it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I know this one was probably a little bit longer than usual. But this is just something I've been like passionate about, like looking at, because it's just been so weird. That we used to go from buying things and owning them to just subscribing for access to things that we in all honesty, should just own. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.